Welcome back, everyone. I'm the Prestio, and this is Langrisser Mobile Apex Season 9. Alright, so looking at this box, I saw a lot of things I did not want to deal with. We got Omega here. Was that right? Is that Omega? No, that's Epsilon. Sorry. Epsilon, we have Werner, Warner, or Werner, however you should pronounce it. Autocrato. Yeah, kind of everything I dislike. It's a kind of a mixture of AoE and assassins. And yeah, I was not in the best state to actually do this match, so we'll see how this goes. So I, of course, went after Wet Him first. I'm still not really comfortable dealing with him. His AoE that can do heal negation and the fact that you can cover the board so quickly is just not something I can deal with reliably. I do have to fight him in World Arena occasionally, though. Anyway, they went after my Kyura. They take Hilda. Also, this is the worst map, of course, Floating Courtyard. At this point, so they took Hilda. I did not want to deal with Autocrato. His long-range 3C thing just annihilates me, and I don't really have a good answer for it. Lucretia has been actually kind of a problem whenever she's doing AoE. Single target, she's of course very devastating, but I can deal with single target. AoE is another problem. Also, she can self-res, which also adds to the problems. In any case, I take my Hilda. The moment I saw this map, I was already considering taking double tanks. That way, I can block off the passage to keep any potential assassins at bay. Speaking of, they banned 2 of my assassins, and they take Epsilon as one of theirs. At this point, Epsilon does have access to his exclusive weapon, which we'll talk about later. I went after his assassins in return, pretty much the bigger ones. Marielle is kind of situational as far as her assassination is, and once she does it once, she can't really do it again. So as long as I can survive that initial hit, I'm good to go. She also doesn't exactly have long legs. Kyura is also generally very magic-based, and most of my group is actually pretty good at tanking magic at this point, as long as it's not spamming AoEs. In any case, they keep banning more of my assassins. I took Lucretia at this point. I did not want to get into an assassin fight, which I guess I'll talk about later. But for right now, yeah, I did not want to deal with a purely assassin fight, because their assassins can outrange mine in most cases, and since most of mine are banned already, that's why I went ahead and grabbed Lucretia first. That way I can try to punch a hole through Hilda. Went ahead and banned Christiane because I didn't want to deal with any of that nonsense. Also got rid of Frozen Seal, so I didn't have to deal with any of the debuff negation junk, because I do have Lucretia with us. At this point, went ahead and grabbed Tensei Jessica. As I said, I'm going to be focusing more on just raw damage rather than assassins at this point. They take Liana as a healer. Yeah, at this point, technically they had a choice of 3 healers, but most people don't use Marielle as a healer. So at this point I was like, alright, well, I don't want to deal with Helena's ability to just run through my troops and put a bunch of terrain down, and obviously Bernhardt is always a pain for me. So went ahead and deck Florentia for this one. And they start... Surprisingly, they banned Pyrotes of all people. Left me with Sissy White and Christiane, and as I mentioned before, they took Florentia, so they went double healers, and I respond by going double tanks. So with 2 tanks, I can block off this little narrow passageway here, which can buy me some time against some of these assassins that have really long legs and really high range, like Kyura. It is only going to be a minor hindrance for Epsilon, unfortunately. Epsilon, in his demon form, with gargoyles, can actually fly. And with his exclusive weapon, he doesn't actually suffer the usual penalties that demons have. So, yeah, that's a thing. Alright, so with all that said and done, not much else to point out here. Liana went Act again with 3C. Florentia went Mass Attack Shield. And then, let's see, Hilda went Broken Arrow. Kyura went Standard All Offense with Faceless. And then Epsilon went with the Standard Kit, which is Shadow Stealth, Demonic Blade, and Supernova. I believe Demonic Blades is 3C. Alright, as for my troops, standard Christian with faction buff, standard Hilda with War Goddess, Light of Genesis. I brought Free Strike because I wasn't sure what sort of what classes or troops that Hilda was going to bring, and I didn't really need extra healing, and I didn't need Strengthen in this battle. So other than that, it's pretty much standard kit. Lucretia, I actually took Cleanse for the potential of dispelling buffs rather than using the Reaper to self-heal and bypass M defense. So swap to that. And then Florentia, I went with just the standard healing kit. I'm not sure what troops she has, but I think there would have been a better option than Forest Priest, but whatever. So right off the bat, my opponent actually knows how to use Epsilon and immediately gets stealth up. So at this point I was trying to consider ways to see if I can break stealth and just kill him, but the only way I can possibly do that is with Christian's Floral Realm, but even with that I wouldn't be able to get in range and have enough actions to make it work. And the fact that Florentia can also just give an extra action to Epsilon just means it's just not really possible. So a few things to note about his stealth though. It's not like Tsubame's talent. Tsubame's talent is has to be just away from enemies, and it lasts until it's broken. And then her 3C stealth only lasts for a turn or two. But in the case of Epsilon, his Shadow stealth only lasts for one turn, can only be triggered when he's not near allies, and it has a cooldown. And the stealth only works while he's at 100% health. So while I can't really touch him right now, after one turn I'll have an opening to possibly attack him. Obviously he's going to get guarded by Hilda, but still, it's something to consider as far as dealing with his stealth. So right after that I'm just moving forward. Since my opponent has such long legs, I don't want to get wedged into my own corner. So yeah, right off the bat, my opponent went ahead and just got into guard range. So no worries there. And I kind of made this little formation here so I can block off the area already. And I went ahead and just did Floral Realm first because Hilda actually managed to faction buff Christian for me. So I went ahead and just got rid of stacks in the process. Alright. So at this point, I went ahead and just teleport Christian forward, give myself more space. So things to, of course, note. I'm always going to assume my Kyura, my opposing Kyura is going to have the staff that extends range, which in this case means she'll have 4 range with her skills. So she can attack all the way up to here and there. So right now she's actually in range of Light of Genesis. Now a few things I want to check. Friendly units within 2 blocks. Okay. So I actually am not getting any benefits from Christian at this range. So yeah, an attack from Kyura is actually going to do pretty much max damage, which is a bit annoying. Also, as far as Epsilon's concerned, he does have +2 range while he has his faction buff active, so his Demonic Blade has 3 range. I was fine with moving Lucretia forward since she's within self-res range, but yeah. It's going to be kind of a race to see if I can kill his stuff before my stuff, but that's every battle, isn't it? So, got Mass Attack up and running. And if you have a faction buff, it's usually a good idea to go ahead and use your stratagems if you can. So, right off the bat, yeah, so Flawless, got Daybreak, negated the crit. And here's the 3C. 400 HP left. Yeah, pretty sure my opponent was not very happy about that result. I'm very glad I've been devoting a lot more effort to getting an HP and chance on my characters to ensure they can try to survive a hit here. If I was within range of Christian and Hilda, I would have had a better chance of surviving, since Christian would have negated some of that range damage even further. So, some things to consider. The only reason I didn't is, yeah, actually in hindsight I think it would have been better just to teleport her here, and that would have given me a higher chance of survival. But it paid off. Even with the Starshine, she can't get in range of Hilda, which means she is now dead. I went ahead and did 3C. I didn't really need to, but I wanted to be thorough, and I've had a lot of bad luck with failing to get kills lately, so yeah, super overkill. Now, this did something, as you probably just noticed. So Epsilon does have his exclusive weapon, and what it does... Well, we'll start with his 3C. So his 3C, every time a unit dies, he gets his Bloodthirst, and his 3C cooldown drops by 1. So his Bloodthirst makes it so every stack he gets of it gets him 5% extra attack. Now, his exclusive weapon, besides making him not suffer the usual penalties for being demon, is he now has a bubble. So the next instance of damage he takes is reduced by 80%. Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. So even if he wasn't in, stealth and guarded right now, I wouldn't be able to one-shot him unless I somehow dispel it. So went ahead and just Magic Pulse just to get it on cooldown. So went ahead and moved forward a bit just to kind of give more coverage. So all I have to deal with is Epsilon at this point. Obviously, I don't think my opponent's going to let me just kill him, so my focus was going to be to deal with Hilda. So yeah, my opponent didn't actually attack, which is I think probably just to ensure he doesn't break his own shield. But his stealth is gone, and it won't refresh until next turn, and that's only if he's away from his allies, which he's probably not going to be. Well, actually, in his case, he can. He can just go in over here, kill somebody, and then immediately go into stealth. Well, he'll go into stealth, and he'll, of course, get the usual benefits of the Alazar shield and all that if he gets killed. So, at this point, he's actually super dangerous. But I went ahead and did an act again on... was it with Light of Genesis? Oh, sorry. I did act again with Langrisser here. Alright, so I went ahead and did Cleanse. Did plenty of damage, even with the troops that get plus M defense. Now, I dispelled 2 buffs, and I actually did get the guard buff off. So right now, Epsilon is not being guarded. That doesn't really matter, because he has 80% damage reduction. But I went ahead and just did it anyway, just so I can debuff him. Yeah, did 7,000 damage. But at least breaks the shield. Alright, so a few things to note. I did apply a debuff, which gave him 30% reduced magic defense. And he's not at full HP as well, so he's going to attack. He does have Twilight Star, so he breaks all my bonuses there. And actually could not get kill, so I think it's the lack of troops, maybe? That seemed to do very little damage. It seemed like my sorcerers... I think it was... I killed a lot of his troops, and so the troops couldn't actually do anything to the sorceresses, so the 3C got soaked by the troops. And then, of course, I just counter-attacking one. So, pretty straightforward match. Got really lucky, obviously, with not getting killed by Karyura. Even if that hadn't have happened... I still would have been able to kill their Karyura, in which case there would have been a duel, essentially, against Epsilon to try to punch through with Langrisser. It probably would have not gone well for me, unfortunately. So, some previous matches I did, I'll just kind of talk about them. I had a little bit of a losing streak leading to this fight, and essentially, Meow Sensei here had a SP Lana, which was kind of neat, but pretty much the fight was Langrisser SP Lana just outranging me and just AoEing me to the ground. I managed to kill some of the units, but I ended up failing the kill with Zerda against the SP Lana because of what do you call those troops? The Redeemers. She had Redeemers, and so it ended up just self-resing. I was hoping that with self-res, I was going to be able to get kill using the Hellfire Archer fixed damage, but it came up short, and so I wasn't able to win that way. And then for the second loss, it was a little bit frustrating because I had the advantage. I baited their Kyura to attack my. Well, first, I ran out of time during ban pick, and it forced me to take Helena, even though I didn't want to use her. So I used the Helena to bait out their Kyura, and managed to kill their Kyura. But after that, I tried to assassinate their Transcender, which is someone you don't see very often. And their Transcender had crystal mages, which can reflect physical. And my Mariel actually died clashing against Transcender. And then I tried to get assassination with Zerda and still couldn't do it. It just reflect damage killed me. So yeah, it was pretty rough. Honestly, I was pretty tired, so I was definitely making mistakes, but it was a bit frustrating because I could have done things better by not attacking Transcender first and attacking other potential assassination targets instead. But it did point out some of the weaknesses of the box, as always, which is kind of nice. In any case, at least I was able to see some units that I don't see very often. This upcoming Thursday, I believe, is going to be the new banner. I think I might have said there was going to be a new banner this week or the previous week, but I was in error. Easiest way to know if a new banner's new characters are coming is by basing it off the Echo of Light here. So on the 23rd, it's going to be the next batch of new characters, which I believe is going to be essentially old Langrisser and old Ares. I believe old Ares is going to be the second faction buffer for protagonists, which is great for protagonists, though not great for me since it's a male character and I don't use male characters. And then old Langrisser, also known as Saint of the Ark, is actually going to kind of give some interesting things to anyone that does do pure only waifu or female character boxes, because she has access to things like sleep, which I haven't had access to because I can't use Bozel. So definitely kind of unique. It's probably not anything that's going to be game breaking or meta changing, at least from what I've seen. But it's still going to be new characters, so we could look forward to that, and there'll also be new exclusive equipment for characters. I believe Sissy White's exclusive, and what's her name? Listelle's exclusive will be out. The key one, of course, is going to be Sissy White's, because it will make it so she gets even more coins, which is going to make her even more viable. Oh, one thing to note about Sissy White, because I used her in one of my matches where I lost, her 3 coin ability that heals everybody and gives plus mobility, it only heals 2 times int, and that's not a lot of int. That's not a lot of healing. That was something I found out during the AoE match. I couldn't actually keep up with the heals because I didn't bring an actual viable heal, AoE heal. So just some things to know. In any case, I am The Depressed Hero. This was Langrisser Mobile Apex Season 9. I'll see you guys later.